So good afternoon, welcome. Thank you so much for coming today and being so prompt. We're always very excited at AKPB when we see people keen to join our activities and our events. So thank you for those of you who've come from Birmingham, Brighton, London and everywhere else. Today you have come to our first of a series of 3 workshops. Hopefully you've all signed up for the other 2 as well. I'll be telling you a little bit about that later. But you have an amazing opportunity to gain skills from some experienced and successful entrepreneurs. We hope you're going to enjoy the one-to-one desks, which today are being manned by our 3 impressive individuals who we're calling our Pathfinders. Do you want to give everyone a wave? I have got photographs of them, but I think it's better if you see them in real life. So Fatima Qasim has just recently made huge accomplishments in her online travel business, and while still maintaining her key position at Bupa. We have Itab Diab, who is currently leading a successful interior design business in London. This is following her accomplishments in Dubai, where she had the opportunity to work on prestigious projects like the Palm and the Burj Khalifa. And last but not least, we have Nazir Manji, who has 35 years of entrepreneurial experience under his belt. I know he doesn't look old enough, but he has a wealth of experience in empowering people. So please, please do take the opportunity to speak to our Pathfinders today. And now I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Faisal Jamal. I know some of you have already spoken to him. He has over 15 years of international experience, leading global teams of over 500 employees and managing profit and loss responsibilities for divisions exceeding 150 million US dollars. I keep wanting to say pounds, but I don't know what sounds more impressive. Today, he is the managing director of JRK Group and is on track to reach 30 restaurants in the next 5 years. So please give a warm welcome to Faisal.
Thank you, Tuss, for the great introduction and for making me a little bit more nervous than I originally was. Yali Milad, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Faisal Jamal, and I'm thrilled to be here talking about something I'm really passionate about, turning ideas into reality through entrepreneurship, your roadmap. You all must be wondering why I'm standing here today and what makes me knowledgeable enough to help you on your entrepreneurship journey. To be honest, I'm asking myself the same question, but like you, I'm learning every day what makes a perfect business. Over the next 40 minutes or so, I will try and help you get started on this journey and share some experiences from my own roller coaster journey in being a restaurant entrepreneur. I will focus on 2 main sections. Firstly, the key areas of a business plan, and secondly, points to consider beyond the business plan, focusing really on the mindset of an entrepreneur. Before we start, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I graduated from King's College with a degree in business management in 2006 and joined my family business in IT distribution. I was lucky enough to have had a chance to work all over the world, from the Netherlands to the UAE, from Turkey to Tanzania. Having worked primarily in emerging markets, I learned so much in understanding different cultures and perspectives, but more importantly, learned how to introduce new products to new frontier markets. I was also fortunate enough to have experience in raising investment from a private equity group and subsequently floating our family business in Turkey. After returning to the UK in 2016 with a very young family, I had to redefine myself and what was the second chapter in my professional career. As you can see from my size, I love my food, and I figured I might as well use my passion for food and get involved in the restaurant space. After lots of research, business planning, and financial modeling, I decided to start 2 franchisees for a cafe bakery concept, Warren's Bakery, and a donut shop, Dum Dum's Donuts. In my research, I was convinced I felt both brands were really the next big thing, and so I jumped into them, opening 5 units in 2 years. I was super confident that both the brands were going to be my check to retirement. However, after dealing with the pandemic, bad franchisor choice with marketing and operations, and changing consumer habits, I realized that every single one of my assumptions were totally wrong, and it wasn't the next big thing, and I was forced to close all of them down in 2020. Having to start all over again, and after lots of soul searching, I quite literally stumbled into a meeting by accident with Slim Chickens, and for me, the rest was history. Right place, right time. Since then, with my 2 business partners, we have opened 6 Slim Chickens and 8 Wendy's restaurants across the South Coast and Essex, and have committed to opening a further 20 restaurants over the next 4 years. We crossed the £25 million mark in restaurant sales earlier this year, and we are hoping to cross the £50 million mark by 2030. Whilst that may sound like a great story, the last 9 years have been filled with lots of highs and an equal amount of lows. Learning every day in dealing with a dynamic industry, but also complex consumer habits. I've learned firsthand the excitement and challenges of building a business from the ground up. Today, I'm here to share some practical insights on crafting a business plan and embracing the entrepreneurial journey. I can't wait to explore this with you and hear your own ideas as we go. If you're unsure about your idea or scared of failing and don't know where to start, you're not alone, and I have been in the exact same place. This session will hopefully give you clarity and confidence to start the process. A little bit of advance warning, I love quotes and facts, and so you'll see them across the next few slides. For me, it helps me reinforce the slide. Separately, I'm going to ask you some questions of you to start your thinking process. Try and jot down the answers and use them for the future. Seconds to the next. Your entrepreneurial spark. Let's kick off things with a quick fun exercise to get our entrepreneurial juices flowing. I want you to take 30 seconds to think about this. What's one bold idea you've had, big or small, that could solve a problem or make life better for someone? Could be a product, a service, or even a crazy concept that you've never shared. Once you've thought about it, turn to the next person next to you and share the idea in one sentence. Don't worry about it being perfect. This is just about sparking creativity, just like the first step in a business plan. So think about it. What's one bold idea you've had, big or small, that could solve a problem or make life better for somebody?
Let's start renting those cars.
Very good idea. Very good idea. Very good idea. Good, fantastic, and thanks for sharing. So that's the spirit of entrepreneurship, spotting an opportunity and taking that first step to imagine what's possible. Now, it's okay to feel nervous. We'll cover the tools to make this journey manageable. Now, before we dive into how to turn those sparks into a solid business plan, there's a word that will keep coming up: entrepreneur or entrepreneurship. So what is an entrepreneur? So the literal definition from Google is a person who sets up a business or businesses taking on financial risks in the hope of profit. Now, let's break down that definition in some more detail and give you what I define as an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a visionary who identifies opportunities, takes risks, and transforms ideas into reality through innovation, determination, and resourcefulness. For me, there's some real key words here. Identifies opportunities, takes risks, transforms ideas into reality, and has determination and resourcefulness. Can we all identify with this definition? Are we all ready to transform an idea or a spark into reality? Are we ready to be resourceful and determined? Are we ready to take a risk? Being a good entrepreneur is as much about mindset as it is about planning. Today, we'll build your confidence to take that first step. Now, the starting point of this journey is a business plan. A great business plan is a roadmap, not a crystal ball. It's about asking the right questions to uncover the one opportunity that can change everything. The best entrepreneurs are not risk takers. They are risk mitigators, finding ways to turn one bold idea into a sustainable reality. Let's dive into what a business plan is and why it's your secret weapon. So what is a business plan? By definition, a business plan is a 10 to 20 page document outlining your business ideas, goals, strategies, and operations. It's a roadmap for you, a pitch for your investors, and a tool for you to stay focused. Now, why does it matter? Firstly, over 800,000 new businesses were launched in the UK in 2023, but 20% failed within 12 months. A business plan increases your chances of being in the 80% that succeed by clarifying your path. Think of it like a GPS for your business. Without it, you're driving blind. Now, don't be scared. It starts with just one word, one idea, and from there, you start building out the plan. At this stage, you don't need a perfect plan, just a clear one. You'll refine it as you go and research more information. Has anyone started a road trip without a plan? How would it go? If you don't know where you're going or what roads you're going to take, what's going to happen? Planning is your first step to reducing stress. Now, the first part of your plan is the executive summary, your big idea in a nutshell. The executive summary, your elevator pitch. It's an overview, 1 to 2 page summary, written last, but placed first in your plan. This is your chance to sell your vision. Think of it as a chance to hook someone in 30 seconds, like a movie trailer for your business. The key parts of your executive summary that you need to cover are the business name and mission, what products or services you are selling, who's your target market, what are your financial goals, and what is your unique selling point, your USP. Imagine explaining your business to a friend. Keep it simple and passionate. If you're still shaping your idea, that's fine. This section will only help you clarify it. For now, in one sentence, what's your business? Write it down. And remember, as you start this journey of being an entrepreneur, that 89% of entrepreneurs say the flexibility of owning a business outweighs the 50-hour plus work weeks that you end up doing. Now, let's dive into why your business exists, your purpose. In this section, you need to explain your business in detail. Things to consider. What's the legal structure you're looking at? Is it a sole trader company? Is it a limited company? What's your mission? What do you stand for? What is your unique value proposition? What makes you different? What products and services are you planning on selling? And who are your target customers? Remember, your why is what attracts your customers. It's what keeps you motivated. Remember, you don't need a grand mission. Solving a small problem well is enough. Really spend time on what differentiates you against everyone else in the market. Remember, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. For us, when we looked at our restaurant business, our unique value proposition was really focusing on brands that have the freshest protein. So both in Slim Chickens and in Wendy's, we use fresh protein in all of our product. Now, let's learn about your customers and your competitors. Knowing KYC, knowing your customer and competition. The purpose of this section in the business plan is to understand your industry, your customers, and the gaps in the market. Research, 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 and more research. Think of it as an adventure in learning. What do you need to research? Research industry trends. In the restaurant business, it's always in the front part of our mind is which proteins are rising. In the UK, there's been a massive rise in alternative proteins for plant-based diets. Research customer demographics, age, income, needs. On the left there is something that we use for Wendy's when we look at different, as we look at in our site selection. So we research not only population within kind of 1 mile, 2 miles, and 5 miles of the site, but we also research household income, food and beverage expenditure, different age groups. Research competitor analysis. What do they offer? What are they missing? Use free tools like Google Trends, customer surveys, competitor visits, Statista, AI learning tools like ChatGPT and Grok to really research about the competition. Validate your research by speaking with 10 potential customers. I know research sounds really technical, but it's just listening to what people want. This week, try visiting a competitor. What are they missing? Where are the opportunities? What are they doing better than you are? Where do you see yourself fit? Remember, businesses focusing on customer experience see 4 to 8% higher revenue growth. With your market clear and your customer and competition clear, let's plan how to run your business. Your operations plan, how you'll run your business. This section details how your business operates daily. So what are the key elements in this section? Where is your location? Are you a high street? Are you an online brand? How many staff do you need? What are the staff roles? What kind of experience do you need from those staff? Think through what equipment and technology do you need? Do you need a point of sale system? Do you need delivery vans for your business? And then think through the processes that are going to be required. What's the customer service process? What's your inventory process? A good way to start is by asking yourself, what's one daily task that your business will do? Likewise, visit similar businesses and estimate how many staff they use or how much space they're occupying. Remember, as you start this planning part, start lean. Minimize costs until you're stable. You don't need a big team or fancy tech to start. Wherever possible, bootstrap. Remember, 50% of UK startups fail within 5 years, but 60% of the failed entrepreneurs try again. I remember a quote by Walt Disney that says, "The best way to get started is to quit talking and start doing." Now, let's talk about money, how to budget for success. Your money roadmap. This part is where you plan your finances to launch, operate, and grow. Some of the areas that you need to consider: startup costs. How much rent do you need? How much equipment do you need to start? Revenue projections, daily revenue projections, weekly revenue projections, monthly revenue projections. Break-even point. When does income cover costs? Funding sources. Is it from personal funds? Is it from crowdfunding? It's okay to start small. Many businesses begin with personal savings. And whilst it's okay to be worried about money, you need to focus on solutions. Always on solutions. As you look at cost, remember to negotiate. Whether it be your landlord or supplier, don't hesitate to negotiate and ask. In our case, we've had significant amounts of rent-free and capital contributions, both from our landlords and our brands and our franchisees, which has significantly helped us to grow faster. Remember, small businesses take 2 to 3 years to profit, and 77% of entrepreneurs use personal savings to start. Use free Google Sheets for templates for budgeting to really help you start that process. And remember, you don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Now, some common pitfalls to avoid as you start writing your business plan. Pitfall 1, no research. Skipping research is a major pitfall. I give you an example. A newsagent that would stock only UK snacks, missing expatriate customers. There would have been an easy fix if he had done enough research by visiting 3 competitors and talking to 5 customers. He would have known what his customers would want. Pitfall number 2, over-optimistic finances. A cafe made a business plan at £2,000 a week, but it took 6 months to hit £500. What's the fix? Plan for a slow start. Include a 3 to 6 month cash buffer. Pitfall number 3, ignoring compliance and not doing enough research on compliance. An example, a food stall faced fines that they had not budgeted for missing health and safety permits. Fix, check regulations, research about food safety, about the tax implications. 75% of high growth firms say planning is absolutely critical. Benjamin Franklin says, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Remember, pitfalls are avoidable if you plan. Which pitfalls worry you guys most? Some next steps for your business plan. How do we turn your dream into reality? A business plan turns those dreams into actionable steps. Start with your why and research your market, plan your operations, and budget wisely. From my side, I'd love everyone to start an action plan over the next 3 weeks. Week 1, write your mission and your unique value proposition. Week 2, research 5 customers and 3 competitors. Speak, ask questions. Week 3, draft a simple budget and operations outline. If we can start committing to this over the next 3 weeks, you'll be able to start building your business plan. Remember, you don't need all the answers today. Just take the first step. Beyond the written business plan, I also wanted to focus on 6 points that behaviorally drive a successful entrepreneur. As I mentioned previously, mindset and planning are both equally important. So the first point, mindset and resilience. Entrepreneurship is a marathon, not a sprint. First-timers often underestimate the emotional roller coaster being an entrepreneur is. Fear of failure, self-doubt, or burnout can even derail the best of plans. My advice, embrace failing as a learning. 60% of failed entrepreneurs try again. Set realistic expectations. Most businesses take 2 to 3 years to make a profit. Practice self-care. Schedule downtime as an entrepreneur. Schedule downtime to avoid burnout as an entrepreneur. Remember, 90% of entrepreneurs say the journey's challenges were worth it for the freedom. Number 2, networking and mentorship. New entrepreneurs often feel isolated or due to a lack of industry know-how. Building a support network can open doors to advice, partnerships, and resources. So how do you do this? 1, join a local business group like the Chamber of Commerce. Find a mentor by reaching out to experienced entrepreneurs via LinkedIn or local startup hubs. Attend industry events or webinars to learn and connect. Reach out to other Ismailis. Reach out to the brands and suppliers you're interested in working with and build a relationship and learn. Soft skills still hold so much value. On my side, and this is a true story, one discussion with an Ismaili in Jamal Khana about opportunities in the restaurant business led me to being introduced to a broker. The broker invited me to a seminar at HSBC, who then invited me to come and visit one of their brands that they were sponsoring, M&S. M&S decided that I wasn't big enough and cancelled on my meeting last minute, And since I was already at the HSBC head offices in Canary Wharf, they told me, why don't you go meet Slim Chickens? That was one conversation with one Ismaili that led to a chain reaction event that led me to where I am today. 70% of mentored businesses survive longer than 5 years versus 35% without mentors. Number 3, low-cost validation. Many first-time entrepreneurs hesitate to invest time or money without proving their idea will work. Testing ideas cheaply reduces risk. So how do you do that? Create a minimum viable product and sell it at a market stall before opening the shop. Test your concept. Use social media to gauge interest, whether that's through Instagram polls for product feedback. Start with a side hustle to test demand while keeping your day job. For us, we've had 2 cases of low-cost validation. Firstly, when we were about to sign our franchise agreement with Slim Chickens, they had a food truck. And so before I signed my first lease in Southampton, we took the Slim's food truck to Southampton, parked it on the side of the road, and gave away free product for 3 days. We tested our product with our consumer, got feedback, made sure that it was a product that we knew the customers would want. I have the opposite side where before we were starting the Slim Chickens and Wendy's business, me and a few other Ismailis thought there was a gap for an Indian food-to-go brand. We felt that we had a really good product, and so we decided to have a pop-up in the city. We created the brand, Poppadoms, built out the brand profile, built out a website, and opened a pop-up in the city for 2 weeks. Lo and behold, we realized that Indian food at lunchtime to city workers was too heavy and it wouldn't work, and so we canned the idea. But trying out pop-ups, low-cost validations, is a really good way of making sure that you reduce your risk. 80% of successful startups tested their idea with an MVP before scaling. Number 4, leveraging technologies. Technology can level the playing field for new entrepreneurs with limited budgets and streamlining operations and marketing. Use free affordable tools like Canva for branding, Square for making payments and POS, Google Sheets for budgets. Start to build out an online presence. A simple website or social media page is enough for you to get started. Where possible, automate. If you're looking at doing consulting, use scheduling tools like Calendly for bookings. 64% of small businesses use social media as their primary marketing tool. 5, look at funding options beyond savings. 77% of UK startups use personal savings, but relying solely on personal funds can limit growth and increase stress. So what options do you have? 1, explore grants. Check gov.uk for startup grants like Innovate UK. Consider crowdfunding, platforms like Kickstarter or Crowdfunder. Look into small business loans. For us, this was a major source of capital for us. We looked at business loans with banks, and we were offered the Government Growth Scheme, a program backed by the government that provides 70% of the loan amount to be guaranteed by government, enabling banks to lend to small entrepreneurs. Look into EIS and SEIS structures where investors get tax and fiscal reliefs. Again, that's something that we used for our business and brought on entrepreneurs where our investors had tax reliefs right up front and made it easier for them to invest in our business. 40% of UK startups use external funding within their first 3 years. So definitely look at options beyond just your savings. Adaptability, pivoting. And lastly, number 6, adaptability and pivoting. Markets change, and first-time entrepreneurs need to be flexible to survive. A rigid plan can lead to failure. Some suggestions. Review your business plan quarterly to adjust for trends and feedbacks. Be open to pivoting, changing products, markets, or models if needed. Stay curious and follow different industry news. Lean into products and services that are associated to your core brand, and don't be scared to lean in because you're not an expert. For us, as we started building out our restaurants, at shop number 5, there was an opportunity to get into construction. Now, as a restaurateur, as an entrepreneur, I couldn't even put a shelf straight. And I was wondering, why would I get into construction? But we lent into that business and realized the value that it would add to our core business. And now our construction business not only does fit out for ourselves, but does fit out for brands like Starbucks, Subways, and other franchisees. And learn from your mistakes and failures. The famous author J.K. Rowling faced rejection 12 times before Harry Potter became successful. It's okay to have to pivot, and 75% of successful startups pivoted at least once in their first 2 years.
So thank you so much, Faisal. I have to say, as I was listening, what was really refreshing for me was to hear a really successful entrepreneur be so humble and talk openly about those first failures, because everybody has them. And all you hear about are the successes. And we're here to try and, help you to start up, to scale up, whichever stage you're at. And it's important that we all recognize that we all fail at some point. And it was really wonderful as well to hear you speak about working within the community and making those connections. It feels like that's sort of coming back a little bit. I think in generations gone by, they came together a lot quicker and a lot easier. And people have become a little bit afraid of that recently, but we can see how beautifully that works. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. I just wanted to say one last thing. I think it is really important what Faisal was saying about loving what you do, because you do it 24 hours a day. And I had visions of dragging my number-phobic child to Kumon classes when you mentioned Kumon. And I can't imagine opening up a Kumon business, because you've got to love what you do. And so for those of you who are thinking about starting something new, make sure you love it. Yeah. Thank you again, Faisal. Thank you.